Last time we did the AY graphing. AY, so if you're new, don't worry because we always start fresh with every lesson. And at the end of every lesson, we have a extra practice section right down here. And so at the beginning of the next class, I like to go over what our extra practice words were so that you can make sure that you got them right if you had any questions. Okay, so last week's extra practice, number 1 was yifte, yifte. Number 2 is yilipe, yilipe. And these are all nonsense words, just in case you're wondering, if you're new, these are all nonsense words because we learn how to read, not necessarily learn how to read words. We're learning the reading rules so that you can read any word, regardless of if you have seen it before or not. Number 3 is yisipe, yisipe. 4 is trisplay, trisplay. Now let me show you something on that one. So you're going to see this as a prefix sometimes. TRI as a prefix typically says try. I mean, when you see it in the real world, it will say try. Just muting a few people here. Welcome, everybody, welcome. When you see TRI in the real world, it is a prefix that means 3, like a tricycle or a triangle. So you will see try and by sometimes, and they might break the spelling rules or the reading rules, but it's because they are taken from a different language and we adopted them and we added them on to our root words to add meaning to what our words are, add meaning to. Oh, you're right. Okay, so somebody sent me a chat. Who was that? Amy, thank you. Smarter than the teacher. I love it when people are smarter than the teacher. So she is saying that this I is going to make its long sound because when we do the tap 2 rule, there is another vowel 1 or 2 doors down. So here's why I said yilipe and not yilipe. So when I is in the middle syllable, when there is a syllable before it, and a syllable after it, it's going to say the short sound 99% of the time. It is a rule breaker. It will say I if it's in the middle syllable, regardless of if there's another vowel, 1 or 2 doors down, 99% of the time. Like family, hospital. So when you're coming to a word, an unknown word, and there's an I in the middle syllable, it's going to say if. But Amy, you are right because of the rule. Thank you for telling me that. Number 4 in this word is trisplay. Number 5 is priliche. See, there's another I in the middle. Priliche. Number 6 is yine. Yine. Number 7 is plimpte. Plimpte. Number 8 is shisimtre. Shisimtre. Is yimplimpe. Yimplimpe. For 10 is shribe. Shribe. Now those were hard, you guys. If you were here last week and you tried those and you got most of them right, then kudos to you. So here's this week's lesson. This week we're going to learn about this today. Not only this week, but just this one session. Our lesson is on the OY. And OY is another grapheme that says one sound. Oi. It's actually a diphthong. But first, before we get to that, let's do our phonemic awareness warm-up. So if you were here on the E lesson, then we also had EY. So this will be a repeat for you because they say the same thing on the E lesson and on the Y lesson. EY says E. Okay, so let's come back over here to train. Be careful that you don't say train. How many sounds in train? Put it in the chat. Train. Put it in the chat. How many sounds are in train? Thank you for not thinking about the letters, only the sounds. That AI is a grapheme that makes one sound. So there's 4 sounds in train. Excellent, everybody. T, a, n. T, a, n. Now make sure when you say those sounds that you put a nice solid break between every sound to break off every sound completely off of the one before it and the one after it. That will help your reading skills skyrocket. How many sounds in, I'm going to make this one into 2 parts. How many sounds in paint? Paint. Go ahead and put it in chat. How many sounds in paint? Try to get the letters out of your mind. Only the sounds. Yes, 4 sounds in paint. A, n, t. Now, let me do that again, because several of you are saying that there's 3 sounds in paint. So I'm going to say that again really carefully. A, n, t. 4 sounds in paint. And I'm going to make it a little harder. How many sounds in paintbrush? Stretch it out. Paintbrush. I'll be cool. We're getting a multitude of answers. A lot of 8s. Let's see how many. In paintbrush, there's p, a, n, t, b, sh. 8. A, n, t, b, sh. 8. It's really difficult to break off that's 2 sounds in burr. So if that was hard for you, don't worry. I chose that word because I wanted to help you try to break off the from the b. Is hard to break off from any sound, any consonant before it, or a vowel for that. Is difficult to break off from anything, but well done. Okay, how many sounds in whale? But before you count, I want to talk to you about the sound, the first sound in whale. Whale, I should have said it correctly. So WH is a digraph. 2 letters that makes 1 sound. And you might be surprised what sound it makes. There's actually no sound at all. It's only air. It's only blowing. So the sound for WH is, it's like you're blowing out some birthday candles. Make sure you blow it. And so when you say whale, then you'll hear that. There's not whale. We say whale a lot just because we speak lazily. But the proper way to say whale is with that blowing at the beginning. So when you come to, or when you hear somebody say, just in conversation, a word like, which way did he go? Or, I don't know whether I want this one or that one. Or, why did you do that? Then you'll know, oh, you know about the WY. It's kind of a little known fact that the WY says. So now that I've said it, you might have already known that, but if you didn't, now that I've said that, you'll probably recognize it and you'll go, oh, look at you. You know about the WY. Which, why, whether, whale. So how many sounds in whale? Put it in the chat. So there are, see my chat, I've lost it. So I can't see how you're doing, but I'll try to fix that while I tell you how many sounds in whale. There's 3. A, O. A, O. So while I try to find that chat back, oh, it's probably because I didn't share my screen. Now put in the chat if you knew that about WH. Put yes if you knew that WH says wha, or put N or no if you didn't. I want to see if that was new to a lot of people. So far, only one person has said yes. Oh, 2 people. Everybody else has said no. Yay, I love learning new things. All right, sharing my screen again. So our new reading rule for this lesson is the EY, which is a grapheme just like AY and OY. 2 letters that make one sound. The EY usually comes at the end of the word and it usually says E. It's not 100% reading rule, but most of the time EY will come at the end and most of the time it'll say E. So for this lesson, because we're working on the most common reading rules so that you can apply them in the real world, EY is going to say E. So I'm going to start by marking my number 1. Go ahead and follow along with me. So I'm going to start by circling the vowels. There's a vowel, and I'm going to circle this vowel team. A vowel team is just 2 letters, 2 vowels that work together to make one sound. Same as a grapheme or a digraph. They both mean the same thing. So I know that this I is going to make its short sound because of the tap 2 rule. There's 2 consonants after it. And when that happens, it makes the vowel make its short sound, I. So when I pencil read this word, it's Y. Remember when we make the Y sound, we want our mouth to be nice and long and narrow, not tall. We don't want it to go Y, Y. You don't want your jaw to drop. You want your lips to kind of smile. So it's more like a Y, Y. So the sounds are Y, I, E. Reading hack for EY. When you connect the dots, it's yipri, yipri, yipri. All right, let's try yours. Go ahead and mark your vowels and try it. Okay, I just had somebody in the chat say that they're not hearing me. If you are hearing me, put a Y in there real quick in the chat. So Kimmy, if you're not hearing me, try turning up the volume on your computer, my friend. If you're not hearing me, you didn't hear that, but she will. Okay, so when we pencil read this word, it's y, I, t, e, yitri, yitri, yitri. It's really tempting to say yitri with a CH sound in the middle, because that's kind of how we talk when we talk lazily. We will say, look at that tree with a CH sound. But if we're really trying to enunciate and read this word correctly, then it's yitri. Make that T and the really clear. Yitri. You're all muted, so you can try it. And nobody will hear you. Okay, I am on number 2. I already know that this is going to make the short sound I because there are 2 consonants after it. And I know the reading hack for EY is usually going to say the long E sound. So when I pencil read this word, it's no, it's not. B, I, P, O, E. When I connect the dots, it's bitply, bitply, bitply. Okay, you try. It's over here, and I'll be quiet. Yep, Vanessa, I think you got it. So this P and this L are going to be the tricky ones. They're going to want to kind of disappear when you say it. So make sure you grab both of those sounds. It's D, I, M, O, E. Drimply, drimply, drimply. So welcome. I wish I knew how to say your name. Feel free to unmute ROCIO so I know how to say your name because I want to hear how you say it.
My name is Rocio.
Rocio. So the question is, the I sounds like an E, right? This one right here, it sounds like a short I. So I'm glad that she asked that because the short I sound and the short E sound are often very confused. But they are read interchangeably and they are spoken interchangeably. If you know anybody that says the word pillow instead of pillow, then that's why, because the short I and the short E are just so similar. They're so hard to discern. But the answer to your question is no. That I is going to make the short I sound. It's really narrow. Your teeth are just barely apart. If you open your mouth a little more, it'll turn into that sound. So this is drimply, drimply. Okay, number 3. I'm going to go ahead and mark mine. So I know that that has 2 consonants after it. I know it's going to say I. Here's my new reading hack. EY usually comes at the end and it usually says the long E sound. So this word, if I pencil read it, it's ish. There's a digraph right there. Be careful that those don't turn into a CH sound. E. When you blend those together, it's yish tree. Yish tree. Yish tree. Okay, try yours over here. Of this TR right here. Try to enunciate it really clearly. Try to get rid of any CH sound so it's not tree. Okay, when you pencil read it, it's y, I, t, e, yip tree, yip tree, yip tree. Please put in the chat how you're doing, so I can see if I need to go slower or clear anything up. Nice, good, great. Beautiful. I love to hear that. That's okay. That's all right. If it's not so good, don't worry. This one was a little hard. Yes, it was. These are hard. I just make hard ones because I want to teach you that you can read difficult words that you've never seen before if you know the right rules. The hardest part, so you're intelligent, you're going to know how to apply the reading rules that I teach you. The hard part is going to come with blending them together. That's when sometimes the sounds can kind of get lost or mixed up, or you forget what was at the beginning. So that's hard for most people. It doesn't have anything to do with your ability. All right, let's try this one on mine. I have a hack for that, by the way, which we'll do in the extra practice. Teach you how to remember those words, those sounds at the beginning by the time you get to the end. Okay, so I know that. Welcome. It's your first class. No wonder it's a little difficult. If you tap 2, the next 2 letters are consonants. So that means the vowel before 2 consonants is going to make its short sound. So that I is going to say I. Your mouth is smiling. Your teeth are just barely apart. I, I. When you pencil read this word, it's I, p, e. Primpy, 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 primpy. Okay, try yours over here. Yes, somebody said the L keeps slipping in. Ah, it's so true. It happens to everybody. But the fact that you're aware of it is huge. Careful of this TR. Don't let the CH sound come in. Okay, when we pencil reading, it's B, O, I, N, E, blintry, blintry, blintry. Now I've been trying to say when we pencil read, I'm trying to say the sounds of all of the letters super clear, because it is most likely that a lot of you learned incorrect sounds, to put it frankly. A lot of well-meaning teachers and well-meaning parents teach incorrect sounds, which makes reading difficult because you're trying to sound out with sounds that have extra sounds in there. So there's some sounds that are voiced, some sounds that are voiceless, only air, like there's some sounds that are very short. They can only come out this far, as quick as you can make them, like b, d. Short sound. I'll think of that. But there's also some really long and sustained sounds. You can hold the sound indefinitely. O, z. What you don't want to do is change the shape of your mouth when you make any of these, because that usually invites another sound in, and that's where the incorrectness comes. So it's not ta, la, or ma. My mouth is changing shape and all those uhs are getting in there. It's t, s, p. Your mouth only makes one shape for most of them. There are a couple exceptions, a couple little diphthong sounds in there, like I, your mouth changes shape, but for the most part, it has to stay. Like it's not la, it's just oh. It's not ra, it's just okay? So I'm trying to teach you those correct sounds as we go. So when I'm pencil reading, really pay attention to the sounds that I'm making and make sure that you're saying the same thing. All right. 4 minutes left. Is there any word on your extra practice that you'd like me to go over with you before I send you on your way? Put it in the chat if you want me to do one of these with you. I'm hoping that we get some 7s or 9s because those look fun. Some 7s and 9s. Okay. Let's do 9. It looks the hardest. Okay. So I'm going to quickly mark my vowel. I already know that that says I because the next 2 letters are consonants. It won't say I if one of those next 2 letters was another vowel. But since it's 2 consonants, it just says it's short sound I. Same with this one. I is going to say I because there's 2 consonants, and also because it's in the middle of the word. I in the middle almost always says I. And then here is your reading hack for EY, which we learned usually. Remember I said that. Don't get mad if you go and you read another word with EY in it and it says something else. It usually says E. So when you pencil read this, this is a doozy. Yeah, I, See, when I make the M sound, my lips stay together. Now pay attention to the sounds when I make them. Yeah, I, O, I, On the N, your tongue stays to the roof of your mouth. E. Now, this is going to be hard for anybody to hold on to all those sounds. So I'm just going to go one at a time. Y. Yim. Yimp. Yimple. Yimple. Yimplin. Yimplint. Yimplinter. Yimplintry. Yimplintry. You got it, Adama. Nice. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Good job. Yimplintry. Now, I want to do something fun that I've been wanting to do for the last couple minutes. I want to just, at the end of the class, introduce some words for you to try spelling to apply these rules that we're learning. So when I see these words, if it has the E sound at the end, put the EY, okay? Spell the word in the chat, so nobody's going to see it but me. I can only think of turkey, and I don't want to give you that one because the UR can also be spelled IR or ER. Next time we're going to do some spelling. I have a whole bunch picked out here. Can anybody think of a word that has the EY in it? Put it in the chat. A real world word that has the EY in it, besides turkey. Tray. Yeah, that's that word that EY says A. That's somebody's name. I was hoping you wouldn't notice that. Any other EY words? Honey. Oh, monkey. There we go. Honey, monkey. Homie, money. Oh, good one, you guys. Key. Oh, good one. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to teach you just a quick spelling hack since I have a word here. If you didn't know how to spell key, pretend that you didn't, so I can tell you why it's spelled that way. You have two choices for the K sound, the C and the K. You can only use a C if the next letter is not an E, I, or Y. Because if a C comes before an E, I, or Y, it's going to say S. So if you spelled key with a C, it would say C. Is your mind blown yet? Because this is kind of a mind-boggling thing. But you have to spell a word with a K if the next letter is the E, I, or Y, if you want the K sound. Quick spelling hack. Okay, so there is our 30 minutes. If you have, oh, look at all of these, Vanessa. She came up with journey, turnkey, odyssey, parsley, trolley, chimney, Langley, and Paisley. Those are brilliant. I'm going to keep that on there so I can write those down for the next time. She Googled it. Thank you. So if you have a question, I have a few minutes now at the end of class where you can feel free to unmute or put it in the chat.